This is Trichinella spiralis by Braden Phillips, or me. So, the genus of Trichinella is, well, Trichinella. The genus, it's a genus of roundworms, a parasite caused by eating raw or undercooked meat of infected animals like pork or other, like stuff like deer or other things like that. There are 8 species of Trichinella spiralis, or just Trichinella. It is T. pseudospiralis, T. nativa, T. morelli, T. nelsoni, T. britovi, T. papu, T. zimbabwensis, and finally T. spiralis, or the one that we are talking about. So, the life cycle begins in animals, so things such as bears, rhinos, mice, pigs. So it starts there, and then what happens is a human or person will ingest undercooked or raw meat of said animals. The larva is released into the small intestine. The larva will grow into the adult stage in the small intestine. More larva is then deposited into the mucosa by the adults. And then the larva insists in the striated muscles, basically completing the whole loop, as you can see where it's insisted in larva and striated muscles in the sylviatic and domestic cycles in the pigs and rhinos and bears and whatnot. So the symptoms are, like a thing like generalized fever, abdominal pain, diarrhea, nausea, vomiting, and myalgias, or muscle aches and pain, sort of like that. So kind of like just your general, like almost like fever, kind of sick sort of symptoms. So the historical significance is in 1835, a man named Richard Owen, so the guy on the left, was born in 1804 and died 1892, and another man named James Paget, the guy on the right, born 1814, died 1899, found a spiral worm and named it the very odd name of lined sandy diaphragm of cadaver. But in 1895, Alcide Raildt, born 1852 and died in 1930, renamed it to Trichinella spiralis because Trichinella was associated with insects in 1830. So, the epidemiology. There's about 10,000 cases of trichinosis occur every year worldwide, so like very little. There is not a whole lot. In the U.S.'s case, you can see in figure 1 how there was roughly about 450, 470 in 1947, which was at its highest, and it slowly dropped over time up until now, where it's basically, you don't really see it anymore. It's extremely rare. In the report, the reports of cases associated with raw or undercooked meat can be seen in the second graph here, where you can see again in 1975 it was way up there, like super, super high. But now, as you can see, it took a major dip, and now it's basically not even existent there at the very end there. Or at least since 2012 or 2010 you can hardly even see it anymore. So how is it diagnosed? If a patient who has all the symptoms of trichinellosis have either a positive laboratory test or they can recall eating raw or undercooked pork or other meat, they will be diagnosed with trichinellosis. So the lab test is primarily done by a Trichinella antibody test. Okay, so morphology. The Trichinella spiralis is the smallest known nematode parasite. Males are usually 1.4 millimeter to 1.6 millimeter in length. Females are roughly twice the size of this. So around like 2.8 millimeters to about 3.2 millimeters. The worm's shape itself is that it's more narrow at the anterior side and wider at the posterior side. So, but not like a cone, so just one side is wider than the other. So, some prevention and control measures. Cook your pork and other meat. That is all there is to it. Just make sure you're cooking your pork and meat, and we will not have any issues with this parasite. So, treatment. Trichinella spiralis can be treated using mebendazole or albendazole. A treatment may vary on how long you have to receive the treatment based on how soon you caught the infection. So the sooner you caught the infection, the easier it'll be to treat. And the later on you catch it, it may be a little bit more difficult to treat. And that is it.